Well, there should be audio now. See, the bad thing about these, whatever call mics you call them, they've got this mute button on the front, and I keep hitting it, or I don't know. But I may not be here that long today. Got a back that it's not behaving. Every move I make, every step I take. Does that sound familiar? One of the songs by the Police, they say that every step I take, every move I make. Yeah. Ouch. But anyhow, I don't. Hang on. Ow. You guys picked the subjects today. I got up too late and I've had too much to do, work wise, even with my back the way it is. I've had to be on my bike twice so far today because these people wouldn't take no for an answer. And actually, I'm the only one that could do it. So I went and did it. And while I was there, I got another phone call to go. Well, see, I was out in Baxter. And then I had to go to Brainerd, the city I live in. And go to Northeast. Go to that small home office, small home office, or whatever they call those things. It's an office they have in their small house, small home office or something. She had a printer issue. I'm not really sure what I did to fix it, but I'm not fucking yelling. I turned down my gain. That might help. But now you probably can't hear me at all, so. And I'll move the microphone to the other side of the desk so you guys can't hear me if you want to think I'm yelling. But I'm not. I'm talking normally. Am I yelling now? If you want me to yell, I'll yell, but I don't think I'm yelling, so. Okay, you guys are saying I'm yelling. What the fuck are you talking about? I'm talking in normal voice. Stop saying that. Or I will start yelling and you don't want me to do that. Tony, I don't know if it was you that sent me these. I can't remember, but boy, these came in handy yesterday. Or not yesterday. I don't know. The other day when I was working on my computer. Boy, these came in handy. Because I had a standoff that was turning with the screw. So I had to get behind the motherboard at a kind of an angle and grab a hold of the standoff and turn the Phillips screw at the same. I mean, I got it, but um, I think I got a stripped out standoff. So that 5000D, and I've got another one on that case. It's not stripped out yet, but it's getting there. So that 5000D case, I'm gonna have to replace it. Oh. Oh, I sound normal? I don't know. Someone said you don't have to yell. Ouch. Ow. It's gonna work on my trailer today too, but there's no way I'm gonna pick up that 60, 70 pound trailer, pick it up 2 or 3 feet, and put it back onto its wheels. And I need to design or have someone design me a lift where I can take that trailer, put it up on the middle of the lift, and it'll just pick it up from the ground up to about this level up to my chin level, so I can work underneath it without having to tip the thing up onto its side and do other stuff. But I don't think that can happen, so may have to take that over to someone else's house and have them do it because I don't have the back for it. At least not today. I may have to wait a couple of weeks until those. Once my back pain goes, I gotta turn down my gain again. Um, yeah, I lost my train of thought. Because the way it is now, I need to do some wiring on it. I desperately need to turn down my gain again. It sounds like, yeah, it's going up like high. I don't know. I don't know how to work this crap, but I guess oh, you know what? You guys are hearing me. That's funny because my volume's turned off. The desktop, yeah, the audio isn't working. At least not on this end, it isn't. Martin Hogue. Hello. Oh, okay. Thank you. Oh my god. Yeah, that's audio stuff on this OBS. I'm not seeing. I'm not seeing it. It's coming up as gray. Well, the bottom one I guess is green. The top one, I don't know. Whatever. It does what it does. As long as you guys can hear and see me, I'm not gonna worry about it too much. But yeah, Ken, one of these nights when you don't have a lot to do on the stream, after 10 o'clock, we may have to get up on here and work on this OBS because I don't know. There's things I'm seeing I don't think I'm supposed to see, and not seeing what I'm supposed to, or something like that. Because someone was over here when I was setting this up the other day, and they said, "Why do you have it set up like that?" Like, what do you mean? It's like, you can't do that. It's OBS, you can do it. I think he walked out saying, "Yeah, whatever." Okay, so maybe I'm doing things wrong, but it works for me. So as long as it works for me, but being that I got people complaining about it, Ken, we may have to make adjustments on this. Or not. Maybe it is working like it's supposed to, but the guy asked me why I'm setting it up that way. He said he's never seen someone do it that way, so there's many ways of doing it, I said, but I'll have someone check into it if you think I'm doing it wrong, but I don't think I am. I mean, like I said, it works for me. Ow. Oh, trying to keep my head straight on what I'm wanting to talk about. But this back pain's got me kind of distracted today. But yeah, I like these. The only thing I wish is like from here over to the tip, I wish it was bent down, that I can go up to it and just kind of grab the stand up. But I mean, I got it, but it would help if they had something that kind of bent down so I could just go over there and grab a hold of it and turn it. But I mean, I got it, but because I was looking for these because I knew these were the only thing that would work to get that out. And I did get it out, but I have pretty much finished off that standoff because it just sits there on the case and it just turns. There is no tightening that standoff anymore. Because somebody, not me, somebody that was originally putting that board in for me, and I mean, I was doing other stuff, but he screwed down the motherboard, and I think on that screw he went one too many ugga duggas too far, and he stripped it. He didn't think he did, because I've talked to him about it. He said, well, I didn't think I went that. He didn't go crazy, and he just went up until it stopped, but I said, you had to have gone further than that, because that standoff just sits there and spins. Like, he doesn't know how he did it because he just went up until it went snug and then he went a quarter turn past. I said that quarter turn past you probably shouldn't have done because, or did you take the stand off and put it in crooked? he doesn't know. Maybe he might have, but he thought he had it in there straight. And I said, you didn't. And now it is stripped. And I was trying to do other things where we're building that computer. And I didn't want to try doing three things at once. I don't want to sound like I'm too close to the mic. Um, I was doing other things, and he wanted something to do. I said, well, here's the screws. Here's the screwdriver. Put the standoffs and that motherboard in. He must have went a little too far with that one because it doesn't take much. That is one thing that is definitely true with those standoffs. You cannot go any further than you're supposed to. Once that standoff thing stops, don't do what he did and go a quarter turn past it, because you'll strip it. It's very, very soft metal. You'll strip those things really, and trust me, I've done it. And he did it by accident. I mean, I've even snapped. What the hell was that I broke a couple years ago on a case? I think it was one of the. Oh yeah, it was a standoff that Carrie and I think a few. I must have grabbed the wrong one because Nate and them guys came over and he said it wasn't that one you're supposed to take out. It's this one. Like, oh, I thought all standoffs in the case were removable. I said no. Okay, because I couldn't get it to turn, so I put a vice grip on it and went. Whoops. Snapped it right off. Oh, I got my ass chewed for that one. Even though it was my own case, my own computer I was putting together. 4 people came down here to yell at me about that one. You did what? Like, well, I thought it was tight or not tight, so I just went a little bit turned past it, or I don't know. I've made the mistake. I've made that mistake twice. Where I've snapped standoffs off. I have broken standoffs right off the board, and I've taken that little tiny little screw that goes in the standoff, and I've snapped the head off that. Yeah, I've had all kinds of fun times building computers. And of course, when I make mistakes like that, people just laugh at me. Like, you did what? You dumb idiot. Well, see, you try it. Well, one of the guys that came over laughed at me a couple years ago. He just did it. And he said, yeah, it's not that hard to do it. He didn't think he did. He just went a little bit turned past snug, and it snapped the standoff. Stripped it. Because I've tried tightening it twice, and then yesterday I got it, and it just sits there and it turns. Oh well, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 screws out of the 9. It's the top. Well, from the way I had the computer facing, I had the feet facing towards me. Taste fan was on the left side, and that standoff that's on the top left corner of the motherboard. It just sits there and it turns. Or is it the one in the middle? I don't know. It's either the one in the middle or the one to the left of it. You got 9 people. Yeah, I can't keep track of that. Who's watching and who isn't. I don't have YouTube running. Or at least I don't think I do I? Oh, okay. Let's do that test of yesterday. Wave the hand, see how long it takes. Holy shit. Oh my god, that's horrible. That was like, wow, that was like 10 seconds later. They've got to fix that. YouTube, if you're listening to me on my live stream, fix your lagging issue. It is horrendously bad. I'm not even going to pay attention to YouTube. It is, wow. That is bad. Yeah, they need to fix that. And I don't want to go to ultra low latency. I've just got mine set on low. Seems to work for me. Oh, Martin Hogg. Happy to report that my Latino PC remained on now has been fixed. Downloaded the Intel. Say the Intel Assistant app. Yeah. Yeah, I use that Intel Driver Assistant program or whatever it is. I mean, I had all the programs for that on my 5000D, but I wiped all my programs off of it because it's just a server, so it doesn't have any. Well, I think I still have that Driver Assistant on there, but I need to at some point, someday in my life, before I'm 105, get one of those small monitors, 10-inch by 10-inch. I just need a small, so I can eyeball the thing with one eye and do the updates and just do whatever else I need to do on that 5000D that is just to the other side of that couch arm. The couch arm here, you just go that way, and it's sitting there. It's still running, so. And I did get some of my problems fixed as far as the problem that I was having. I got that fixed thanks to Carrie's video that he pointed to me, and I don't know. I don't think I made him too happy, so. But it's not, and I talked to other people about it, the other techs here in town, and the reason they don't know anything about it is they don't do what I do. I don't do what Mike said, that peer-to-peer bullcrap you're doing. Not a lot of people in Brainerd. They do the businesses and they set up servers. That's what they know how to do. They don't know how to do what I'm doing. So when I told them that SMB fix that they had, short message block, they knew nothing about it because they don't use that to connect one computer to another. They only do businesses, and I guess, and it is true, the business around, I guess they do it different. They do it differently. Yeah, it doesn't work the way I'm trying to set mine up. Which reminds me of the question. Um, Reminds me of the question. Where was I going to go with that? Come on, cobwebs, get out of my head. Yeah, whatever. I'll loop back around to that to get back to you on that later. But yeah, I've got that pretty much all set up. Oh, I got it. I got that permissions thing or password log on problem fixed. Uh, but I am still, well, again, we'll work on that tonight after the live stream, and I might have to contact Doug about it, even though I don't think he's doing anything with us right now except on Saturdays. And I don't know if I'll be home long enough on Saturday to get a hold of Doug, tell him I want to, but I don't want to do that because he's going to see things on my computer that he's going to get very upset with. You have no official backup. You don't back, well, that's so fast. I do back things up, but I have them on like flash drives, and there's one. There's one. There's one. My hard drives. So, I do have things backed up. I just don't keep it on my computers. Just for that reason, if I have to get another professional, which I'm not, but if I have to get someone like Doug to look at my computers, he's going to see everything, and he's going to start putting up question marks. Why am I not... The last guy I had, the reason I say that is because the last guy I had over here, he looked at my computer and says, what in the world are you doing? What do you mean, what in the world? It's like, what is this? Oh, that's... Oh, yeah, well, he kind of cussed me out about doing that, so that's kind of afraid what I'm going to run into is I don't want to piss people off, so And I think I have with a few people, so I think I'll leave that problem to myself. And if I don't fix it, I don't fix it. But it does work. I can watch movies from that computer into the bedroom. But I cannot still get this living room bedroom. See, I got the log on permissions thing. I got that taken care of. Or they no, they I can't SMB log on. I had to turn that from true to false. And then there was another one underneath that. There was 2 steps to it in PowerShell. I did the first one, and then I said yes to all of the first one. Did the second one. Hit enter after I put that whatever in that SMB something. Hit enter. It said yes or no, and I said yes to all. That seems to have fixed it because I'm not getting that authentication for password and username. But now I've got a permissions issue. And that's why Mike he looked at my computer. He said, things would be a lot easier to set up and work with if you wouldn't have it set up the way you do. That's why everybody kind of gets irritated with you, because of the way you do things. It's worked for me for 27 years. I said, yeah, well, it shouldn't. Well, it has. So I don't know. It works for me, but for everybody else that tries to do something on my computers, they scratch their head thinking, what has he done? Nothing. I don't know why these people are... I don't know. I'm complaining and I shouldn't be. And I get tired of people looking at my computer saying, what the hell are you doing? You can't do that. Is there a law saying I can't do that? No, but you can't. One guy got irritated with me. He got up and walked out of here. He said, if you're going to keep doing that to computers, then sell all your computers and go back to pen and paper. So I said, what the hell am I doing that's so bad? He slammed my door shut and told me to F off. Like, whatever. I think they just want things their way and only their way, no other way. I don't know. But I might have to reach out to some people if I can't figure this out, the permissions. I'm slowly getting there. But hey, Bronx. The Bronx. Oh, I haven't had the operation. Oh, I think I either didn't tell you or the hernia operation kind of got canceled because a week before I was gonna have that hernia surgery, which is still gonna happen. I had another problem come up, and they had to put me on some pretty serious medications to clear that up. So they had to cancel my hernia surgery because of the medication this other doctor put me on, and he's refusing to take me off of it. Because I asked him yesterday. He said, this medication I'm on, can't I get off of it for like a month? And they said no. So my mom kind of stepped in and said, he needs that hernia. So now they're looking at, I don't know. They're either going to put me on some kind of different medication, or they might legally force me to have the hernia or the hernia surgery's got to have come first. But what they're now thinking is they may force me to have the ulcerative colitis surgery, because they figure that's the only way to end 2 problems in one. Is just to flay my lower guts, just flay me open and just dig everything in my intestines out, and then rework it and do something with it. The surgeon himself told me, you don't want to have that surgery, and that's why I'm not doing it. The surgeon himself that does that surgery, he said you'd be better off on the medication instead of going through the surgery, because you will not be happy with me after I get done. That's a hour and a half surgery. He said you will no longer like me after I get finished because of the amount of pain you're going to be in. And I said, yeah, I think I'll stick to the mid now, because of my mom sticking her nose in it, and asking some questions I wish she hadn't asked. Now they're thinking of rerouting this whole thing and dropping some of my medications and see if they can get the hernia surgery done. Then I gotta go to the cities, get my back injection. Then it sounds like they may have me come back up to Brainerd in 2 or 3 weeks after that. I don't know. I don't want to have the ulcerative colitis. And the surgeon told me himself, like I said before, he said, you don't want to have that surgery. He said, you'll be in god awful pain for at least 3 weeks after that. And there's not much they can do about it because everything has to resettle and kind of reposition itself. So he said, hold off on that for as long as you can. I guess the surgeon and another doctor are going to call my mom at home and just kind of tell her that the way she's thinking isn't going to work right now because of the medications I'm on, and they can't put one operation in front of the other just to get this one to work, to get another situation to disappear. They said they're not going to do that. So she called me today and she's a little upset, but she said, I guess you won't be having that colitis surgery, but I kind of wish you would because she doesn't want me on all this medication I'm on. I take a handful of medication in the morning, half a handful at night. And she really doesn't want me on medication. It's, she said it's not doing you any good. Well, if I were to have the ulcerative colitis surgery, yeah, I wouldn't be on 2 more meds, but like the surgeon told me, you'd be better off without it. So I'll take the surgeon's word for it. I just want to have the surgery. So that's the news as far as the hernia surgery is. That's been canceled. See, I was gonna try to sneak. It wouldn't have worked anyhow because he would have found out. Dr. Purcell would have found out anyhow. But I knew I was kind of bleeding every time I took or a healthy one, we'll say, to be polite. And I was bleeding. And that was about 2 weeks ago. So I called my mom, and I shouldn't have. I should have not told any about it because of knowing now how it's going to work. My idea I had would have worked. But I also did kind of tell my mom that, I'm bleeding again. So she immediately calls the Essentia Health Clinic. And then she called the hospital. She called 2 other doctors. Didn't call. She got out of my chart and told everybody, Rick's bleeding again. You need to. And then this Dr. Valet, I can't pronounce his last name. He canceled my hernia surgery because now I'm on this medication for other things, and so I don't know. Now my mom is wanting my back injection canceled because, again, because of the medications I'm on, which are one of them steroids is a steroid. But then so is my back. So is my. They inject the cortisone. That's a steroid of certain sorts. Oh yeah, being unwell is yeah. It's I'm 57 years old, and my year started off fine, even though my birthday was June 8th. January 1st of this year, feeling wonderful, just peachy. January, February, March, and then April hit. It's when everything went downhill. I mean, everything. Um, Doctors are scrambling, trying to figure out what the hell's going on. I talked to 2 of them yesterday. I was in the hospital. They're not really sure what to do yet, but they are working on it. And then now I've got doctors arguing with surgeons and surgeons arguing with nurses because they're all trying to come up with the same idea but a different way. And the surgeons are telling the doctors this won't work. That it's become a really convoluted mess. My mom was kind of surprised it's getting that bad. the doctors and nurses and surgeons aren't getting along because they don't quite know how to handle this correctly. My mom said if this bullshit continues, we'll drop Brainerd. We'll just drive down to the cities. We'll have them do everything down there because these guys can no longer get along as to how to fix the problem. And my mom's calling the clinic every single morning. Do you have any answers yet? Do you have a workaround yet? Like, no, we're still working on it. Oh, in other words, you're still yelling at each other and they just hang up on her. Oh, welcome to my life. I am hoping someday I can. I still haven't taken that bike trip up north yet either. Time is running out. Because I gotta call my mom. She's my driver. She's the one that will decide when I can come down there. We'll go down there to get my injection shot because she says I've got my life to do, but I could have a friend take me down there, but she's not allowing that. She said, no, if anyone's going to take you, it's going to be me because I know you'll get there. Anybody else, I can't trust them enough to get you down to that appointment. They say they will, but I think Jackie and Brett, they're pretty honest people. I think she said, no. Jackie's not going to get anywhere as close to the situation of taking you down to the cities. I said, all right. But I know she wants to get out of doing all that driving from St. Cloud up to Brainerd, which is an hour and 15 minutes. And then back to Sauk Rapids, another hour and 15 minutes. I stay overnight. That morning, around 7:30, quarter to 8, we leave down to the cities. My appointment is like at 11:15. We always get there an hour early. I don't know why my mom can't calculate when we leave the house at 11:15. There's a big gap in there because it's because of traffic. She always says, well, you never know. We might run into a traffic jam. We might run into bad weather. So we're going to leave an hour and a half early just to make sure we get there. But then we sit in the car for 40 minutes until 15 minutes before my appointment time. And then we go in the clinic. We sit another 20 minutes. So my name is called and I say, Rick, like, yeah, that's me. And my mom and I go back there and we talk to my doctor, Dr. Jewison. Well, this time I'm going down to get injections, so I won't see Dr. Jewison this time, but he kind of yelled at me last time I talked to him because I haven't been seeing him as much as I should have. He likes to see me Hello, Headstash. He'd like to see me 3 times a year. Well, I can't remember. Is it twice? 2 times? I think it's 2 times. I asked 3, I think. And he wants to see me, and we just didn't get there last time because my mom had a busy life. That's why I'm always tempted to call a friend and to say, can you get me down to the cities? I'll pay $100 to get me down there. That's been offered by a few people, but my mom's rejecting it. She said no. Because she can't trust anyone good enough to get me down there and bring me back and for everything to go right. So she's the one calling the shots. I just wish there was more options so I can get down there when I want to. But my mom said, you'll get down there when I think you should be down there, and we'll get down there if the weather is good enough. Well, this last year, according to her, the weather just wasn't good enough to get me down there for the second and third time. We went down there once last year, and he kind of told me, he said, Rick, for us to work together, I need to see you more often than when I'm seeing you. I said, yeah, I know, but that depends on my mom and getting me down there. I said, you may have to find somebody else because if she doesn't want to bring you down here, you're going to have to find somebody to get you down here. 3 times a year. No questions, no buts, ifs, ands, or whatever. No excuses. You're going to get down here 3 times a year. You've only been down here once. And we're already at August. And I don't think we're going to make it 3 times a year. Because when it gets cold or when it starts snowing, my mom the car will not leave the garage. If the pavement isn't perfectly dry, it Dwayne won't have clear blue skies, and she has $1,000 in her pocket. I don't know what excuses she comes up with, but she's canceled my appointments twice because she thought the weather just wasn't going to be good enough. And then coming to find out the day of my appointment, it was perfectly fine. We could have gotten down there, but from what she read 2 days before, there's going to be heavy thunderstorms, wind, and that was about 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning. He said, no, we're not going. Well, the day of my appointment, we could have gone, but she had already canceled my appointment the day before. So that's why I've got to look at other alternatives getting down to the cities. You know, when I'm down in the cities, I would love to go to Micro Center. They have one in the Twin Cities area. Like the guy was there once. When my mom's boyfriend Jim Hart, who has since passed away, he brought me to a Micro Center once. I had to pick up a printer. And I walked in there thinking, Jesus Christ, this is Micro Center? I don't know, maybe the one we were down in the cities, I wasn't too impressed. To me, it looked like Micro Center was kind of small. I said, this is Micro Center? He said, Rick, never mind about anything. Let's just get your printer and let's get the hell out of here. So we did. I just picked a random printer all in one and just picked it off a shelf and we paid because Jim didn't want to be there too long because they were playing music. The guy had issues. He doesn't like going into restaurants or stores that play music. Or he didn't when he was alive. He was kind of a bear to deal with. He was the guy that didn't watch TV because he didn't own a TV. He didn't listen to the radio. He doesn't like. I don't know. He was a strange character. But he was the one, 3 times a year getting me down there because he didn't care if it was snowing. He didn't care if it was 20-mile-an-hour winds. He'd get us down there and back. My mom, she won't do that. Winds that are 20 miles an hour, her car is just kind of doing this all over the road. She won't do it. She said, we're going to stay home, Rick, because that wind is getting up to 20, 30 miles per hour, and I'm not driving on that kind of bullshit. I said, then how am I going to get to the cities? You're not. Okay. So, but it looks like whenever they make my appointment now, which has to be rescheduled. Yeah, it has to be rescheduled because we don't know yet when I'm going to have my hernia surgery. And I know I wasn't going to talk about medical stuff, but here we are. You guys aren't, I don't know, I got to read chat. Yeah, thank you. I'm hoping things go well. I'm hoping things get better. Okay, Bronx 9, what happened? I had prostate cancer and get a. Ouch. The Bronx 9, all I can say is ouch, 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 ouch. Yeah, I understand the reason you did it. You kind of had to, but I don't think I'd let them do that. That sounds like that's kind of pain I wouldn't deal with. No matter what kind of medication they put you on for pain, I don't think that would cover it. Um, there are some surgeries I just won't have to save my life, and that's probably one of them. That's just one thing I won't do. There are other things that doctors want to do with me that I've simply told them you're not doing that. So you're willing to have that kind of pain. One of them's my foot. They're now thinking I need to have surgery on my. Well, you can't see it, but surgery on my left foot, the top of my foot, because they've X-rayed it, and there's some bone spurs in there that are kind of rubbing together. And when I'm walking, you'd hear that bone spur going up against the bone. You can hear it cracking. When I'm walking, just and every once in a while it swells up. But they want to fix that. But then I have to be on a foot cast for 2 or 3 months. I said, how am I going to ride a bike or get around with me in a foot cast? You won't. And you're not doing the surgery. Okay? Live with the pain. I'll live with the pain. It's not that bad. I can walk. It's just every once in a while it acts up on me. But yeah, my mom got concerned about it, and she said, well, would you x-ray his foot? Because he's been complaining. I wish she wouldn't use that word, complaining. I wish she would have said that Rick has stated a couple of times that when he's walking, his right foot, top of his left foot cracks. And the nurse kind of got curious about that and said, Rick, would you mind if we x-rayed? That doesn't sound right. I kind of looked at my mom and I said, I wish you hadn't said anything. She said, I know you didn't, but I'm concerned about it. People's feet shouldn't crack when they're walking. Whatever. I got up. They did the x-ray and it came back and you could see where the damage in the top of my foot is. And they said the only really way of fixing that is they cut your foot open and get that bone spur. It kind of looks like to her like it was a bone spur that was rubbing against some other stuff, and that's why it's cracking. She said it wouldn't take more than 15 minutes, but you're going to be in a foot cast for a month or so. And I said, no, thank you. I'll live with what I've got. That's also why I've also denied the ulcerative colitis surgery. I know I'm on the list to have it, and they said, well, whenever you decide to change your mind, let us know. That was 5 years ago. And I'm not going to. I'm not going to spend the next month or so in agonizing pain. And to me, it's not worth it. I've got enough problems with my back that I don't need to have problems with my front side either. So, if things do get bad enough where push comes to shove and they force me to sign a piece of paper saying I'm going to have surgery, then I guess I will. But, I've asked them, can they legally do that? And they said, no, we can't legally force you, but at some point you're going to get up to the point where you're going to have surgery. I mean, you can go without it, but your mom would like you to be off the medication you're on. The only way that's going to happen is if you have that surgery. Well, here's the thing. I think I pissed the nurse off when I said this, but it's how I feel. I won't have that surgery done here in Brainerd. There's too many stories I've heard. Move the mic further away from me. There's too many stories I've heard about Brainerd doing surgeries and they keep screwing up. I mean, this one guy I know has had surgery on his arm. He's had surgery on that arm twice because the surgeon can't exactly figure out what he's doing. So he had to go back in there a second time, and they think they fixed it, but I don't know. I said, why did you have it done in Brainerd? Well, because Brainerd told me they could fix it. And it's a relatively easy surgery, but apparently it wasn't because Brainerd has tried it twice. They can't get it right, so I think sometime this winter he's gonna drive down to the cities or Rochester and go down there and stay for 2 or 3 days and just go in the hospital and have them do it because they need to redo what this surgeon up here did. He didn't do it right. And I'm kind of afraid with my ulcerative colitis being that it's such a violent, and this is how the surgeon worded it, it's a nasty, harsh, violent surgery. Things coming out is easy. Punching things back in that little pocket that your intestines sit in, is where he has problems. Yeah, literally just sit there and put all his weight and pressure on it and push the intestines back into their cave. And he said they introduce so much air into your system to kind of get things to sit where they're supposed to. And he said that's where all that pain comes from because everything it gets irritated. And I said that takes about 25 to 32 days for it to go away. But he said you'd be better off. Well, you're not to the point of surgery yet. Keep pushing your luck though, and you will be. That's one of the other reason why I quit drinking pop. I don't have Pepsi. I don't have Mountain Dew. The only thing I drink today, well, since July 2nd, the only thing I drink from now on is water. And I tell you what, my gut has thanked me. I haven't had a colitis attack as bad as the last one I had that damn near put me in the hospital. I haven't had any pain. My hernia is at a kind of a mid-level of maybe 4, and it's livable. But the ulcerative colitis always acted up on me when I had Pepsi, Mountain Dew, anything with carbonation in it irritated that. Ugh. So I stopped, and I tell you what, I'm feeling so much better not having the Mountain Dew. I know it sounds crazy because I was so addicted to it. What are we gonna do with me? Oh, shut me down, throw me in the trash can. I am of no use to anybody anymore. At least not at the moment. I got a lot of health issues, which eventually will be fixed. It's just like my mom said, we're just gonna have to go day by day and let the doctors decide when they want to do things, which seems to be taking forever. Um, the doctors just keep delaying everything. My mom pushed them to get the procedure I had done yesterday done when it got done yesterday because they were going to wait till everything else. I had the hernia surgery, then I go back down to the cities, have the injection shot. Then they said you can come back up and we'll do this. I'm not going to mention it but my mom kind of pushed him to do that yesterday. They were going to wait another month, and she says, "No, no, no, no! You can't wait a month. We need to do this before he has his hernia surgery and before he goes down to the cities. You don't got that much time." So they canceled a little appointment, I guess, just to get me in, which they really shouldn't have done. But my mom kept calling him every half hour until she got the answer she wanted to hear. It's like, okay, we canceled an appointment. Rick can come up here on the 29th, and we'll get that taken care of. Again, I kind of wish he hadn't, but the doctors up here would have waited forever to do that. And my mom wanted the answers. She wanted the answer to see if my ulcerative colitis is getting any better or worse. Well, from the picture I saw, from what they did, it's got a lot of inflammation, a little bit of redness. So they said I'm not exactly cured yet. So my mom kind of leaned forward and said, when can he have his hernia surgery? For right now, he's not going to. The doctor said, Rick, I'm sorry for saying that, but we can't take you off that medication that you're on because, and he circled the picture, all this redness and inflammation has to disappear first. So when can I have my hernia surgery? Probably not for a couple of months. I'll be dead by, he said, Rick, you won't be dead. It's going to be a little painful, but it won't kill you. If it gets to that point, then yes, I'll cancel everything. You'll have a hernia surgery, but for right now, he said no. That's pretty much why I dropped the Mountain Dew and the Pepsi, because not to mention I couldn't sleep well at night, and I still can't sleep at night. But that's half the reason I wanted to do that, to see if it would decrease the pain. Surprisingly enough, it did. It still acts up on me because I eat food that the ulcerative colitis reacts to. So that's my story, and I've been blabbing for over an hour. I guess I shouldn't have been doing that, but I don't know. You guys ask questions, I'm answering them. If someone asked me what about my surgery, yeah, that got canceled, and we have no idea as to when they're going to do the. Well, they've canceled everything from here going forward. You see, you're not having your hernia surgery, and you're not going down to the cities. My mom looked at him and said, "You're kidding me." He said, "No, I'm not." He needs to get that inflammation in his colon area fixed before, because if we put the chicken before the egg and the horse before the cart, things could go bad. And she got extremely worried and started questioning about my hernia. I said, "Well, how long can he wait on this?" "He'll have to wait until I decide he can have it," which I got an email from my mom. She's, oh my God. She's gonna get me kicked out of the clinics in the hospital because she's calling them day after day after day after day, asking questions. And I emailed her back and I said, "Mom, stop. You're gonna get me kicked out of the clinic and the hospital because you're bugging them. They'll do what they need to do when they think they need to do it." And she emailed me back. She said, "That's not acceptable. Rick, you need to have that hernia surgery." Yeah, I do, but I think I can wait a month or two. She looked at me and she's like, "Rick, no, you can't. That's an incarcerated, however, hernia. That if he doesn't," she heard what the nurse, um, I don't know what kind of nurse she was, but she told me, and my mom happened to overhear me, even though she's got hearing aids in. She heard that, and she said, "If you don't take care of this, that's going to turn into a different situation that you don't want to deal with. And then that's going to take surgery. That's going to turn it into another situation. And to fix both of them is going to take surgery without fixing your hernia. So if you get the hernia fixed today, soon, then the other problems won't show up." But now it looks like both of them got canceled. I'm not having the hernia surgery. And because of the steroids and the medication I'm on, I can't go to the cities to have the injection shot. So a lot of it is if my mom had kept her mouth shut. I'm gonna turn down my gain again. Um, I know my mom tries helping me. I know her interest is me getting things taken care of. But now the way she's doing it, the doctors here and down south have canceled everything. No hernia surgery. There'll be no fixing the back until I get off the medication I'm on. But he doesn't want to take me off this medication because he knows what's going to happen if he does. So I'm kind of stuck in the middle, kind of waiting on limbos. Then one of these days he's going to wake up and say, "Okay, Rick needs to get off that medication because maybe he should." But he said, "For right now," he said, "if you get off that medication, you're going to," yeah. So, yeah, that's my story. I know it's what you probably didn't want to hear, but people did ask how I'm doing and what happened to my surgery. That's the story. If the doctors and nurses and the surgeons could get along, and if my mom hadn't stuck her nose into it, I'd probably be having my surgery a week or two from now. But like my mom said, all your um, procedures you're going to have in the next couple of months, I had them all canceled because, and the doctor kind of agreed with my mom because my mom forced him to agree. Here's the way she worded it. He had no other choice but to say, "Yeah, I agree with that." So I'm not going to die or anything. The doctor said I'll be fine. I'm just going to be in a little discomfort until I get to have the surgery and I get down to the cities to have my back taken care of. Well, put it in your mind this way. I got my hernia bothering me today. That's up in front of the belly button area. And then in the back, I've got my muscle spasms and inflammation. I'm getting nailed at both ends. Oh, but one of these days, probably sometime later this year, I'll get both problems fixed. But the doctors right now and the surgeons aren't really sure which direction to turn to. So, and because of the medication he won't take me off of, the surgeons said, and that's the two that are arguing. They said, well, he needs to get off this so I can give him his hernia surgery. And he said, I don't want to take him off that medication because if I do, you think things are bad now? And the third, yeah, I guess he said, he just turned around and said, whatever. You're just going to end up killing him because he needs to have that hernia surgery. He said, I'll change my mind here in a week or two, or in a month or two. The surgeon looked at him and said, he just walked back down to his up where went wherever, but the surgeon's not too happy. He knows it's something I need to have done, but the doctors and my mom have got everything screwed up. So I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine as to when things are gonna happen. It could be, I don't know. Um, she did email me another email a little while ago. She said, what she asked me, what would you like fixed first? Do you want to have your hernia surgery first, or do you want to cancel that for another couple of months and then go down to the cities next month to get your injection shot? Oh, tough question because they both bother me. But if I were to take the worst for the worst, the way I'm feeling today, I'd rather go down to the Twin Cities and get my injection shot than try to sit up here and fight with the doctors and nurses and surgeons about my hernia surgery. So she said, I guess that's the direction we'll go in. Well, we got to get you off some of that medication. And oh my God, it's 2:59 already. But yeah, it'll all get sorted out eventually. Have interest rates come down? I don't know. You tell me. Have interest rates come down? That's something I don't keep track of. Interest rates on what? In the Rock 9, I don't. Hope things get better for you. Um, but yeah, that's probably one surgery I'd probably, me, myself, just me talking personally. That's probably one surgery or something I wouldn't have fixed. Because the guy, Jim, he also had prostate cancer. And the hell they put him through. I mean, you can live with that for a very, very long time. I mean, he had it for 5, 6, 7 years. It just wasn't to the point where they had to do anything about it because his hadn't gotten bad enough yet. So he was living with it all, for many, many years. Um, and I guess that's what I would do. Is if I got in that position, I would ask the doctors, like, well, how long can I live with this before A, it either kills me, or two, I have to have the surgery. If it doesn't get bad enough, you don't have to. Jim didn't have, he didn't do anything with his prostate cancer for many, many, many years. In fact, I don't think he did anything with it. So, I don't know. Yeah, kind of sorry to get on the medical kick, but and sorry to be yelling at you guys. I don't know how that's happening. I've turned things down. So, I got some adjustments on this to do to do things a little bit differently. But anyhow, that's kind of what's going on with me. Hopefully, interest rates come down. Okay. Yeah, it's 301. Yeah. right, guys, I gotta get out of here. I didn't think I was gonna make it an hour and 1 minute. I don't think I should have. That may not have been a good idea, but it's been fun talking to you guys. But so a few of you did ask me, what's going on with me and what happened to my surgery. Well, that's the story. I don't know if either one of the two things I'm gonna have done are gonna happen. The doctors and the surgeon and my mom have everything so twisted. And that's what the nurse kind of told her. The nurse took my mom out of the room to have a word with her. But I heard the nurse said, at this point, things are so screwed up. It's so convoluted, we're not going to do anything right now until the situation straightens itself out. And my mom, I heard her said, you can't tell me that. He needs to have this hernia surgery. And the lady looked at her and said, you're going to have patience. He can't have that hernia surgery until he gets off his medication. And the doctor doesn't want to take him off of it right now. So when my mom brought me home yesterday, she said she's going to look into other options. She doesn't like what that nurse, LP, or whoever she was. She didn't like what she said to her. So she's going to call down to Minneapolis and talk to the clinics down there and see if there's other options that we can do to get things cleared up. Because it sounds like Brainerd kind of stopped everything. I'd like to go and change my tire on my bike, but that involves bending, twisting, and not today. Then I talked to my dad this morning, and he said, "Yeah, the back pain is always usually the worst on the second day." Well, I wouldn't say this is the second day. I think this kind of started a couple days ago. It's just the one thing I've always heard is things get worse before they get better. How bad do things have to get before I start getting on the road to getting better? I don't know. But guys, I'm going to let you go. I got to get up off this chair and I got to go take some more pain medication. Because it's starting to get to the point where if it gets any further, I'll be calling someone and take me back to the hospital because I don't like dealing with this pain. And that still might happen sometime today. So if you don't see me on the live stream, Ken, tonight, it's probably because I went to the hospital. I probably won't, but I don't know. Depends if the back spasms really get bad enough to where I have to. But the way I'm feeling right now, I'm in pain, but it's livable. But if it gets worse than this, yeah, I'll have to call I guess it'd be the police department I'd call, wouldn't it? Yeah, I'd call them, said, can you send an ambulance over here, have them come pick me up? I don't want to do that, but if it gets worse than what it is now, yeah, I'll be in the hospital. And I was just there yesterday, so I'd like to avoid going back to the hospital, but then again, me not liking pain, if it gets any worse than what it is now, yeah, I'll call the police and tell them send an ambulance over, come pick me up. Which will be the first time since I've lived here I've never had an ambulance come pick me up. It's too embarrassing. Because a lot of people know they can hear the ambulance coming. So about 60, 70 people go out to the balcony, they look down and they see who's getting picked up. From way up on the 11th floor, they go, and then people talk to you about it when you get home. And I mean, the last guy that came back from the hospital, these people are still harassing him about it. Until the office got involved and told him to stop. But if I have to, I will. But but for now, I'm gonna cut you guys loose, and I think I'm gonna go lay down. So everybody, I hope you have a great afternoon. thank you for being here. It has been fun. I like talking to you guys every day. It gives me something to do, being that I can't be at work right now, which is the other subject my mom and I got into. She really just wants me to fully retire. She said, and the doctor too. He said, I don't think what you're doing is really beneficial to you anymore. You've done it for 22 years. Don't you think you could quit? No. I'll back off. I'll go like maybe once or twice a week, but I just can't up and quit because then I'm sitting here all day, bored off my ass. The choice is yours, Rick. I'm not saying you should, but I kind of wish you would. It's not doing your back any good. It's not doing anything. It's not doing your whole body a lot of good by working as much as you are. So you're gonna turn me into a potato, have me sit in the rocking chair, and just wait for me to die. He said, Rick, the choice is yours, but technically, if you want things to get better with your back and everything else, for you, it'd be a better thing to do is just quit. Unless you do want to have back surgery. Like, not really. He said, well, then adhere to my advice and start backing off. Yeah, if I stop not working, I'm not making any money. And he looked at me again and said, Rick, what is more important to you right now? No pain or working with pain? Yeah, good question. All right, guys. I'm going to go. I'll catch you all later. Yeah, I might be on Zoom tonight. I might not be. Because if I'm not going to the hospital, I'm laying in bed sleeping. Which is probably what I'm going to do right now. Is well, probably not. I'll get on Zoom and talk to you guys for a little bit. All right, guys. At this point, I have to say, depending on how I'm feeling, there will be a live stream tomorrow at 2 p.m. But I don't know. It depends on how I feel. And with that, I'm going to let you go. Catch you guys all later. Bye for now.